And welcome to another Lang Gang Dev video. So, we currently have a pretty nice looking and a functioning keyboard interface, right? You can type, get the correct keys in. If I press something incorrect, we get this little shake. If I'm slow, it'll give me an indicator of what key to press. And we have stats that are getting collected. But if I switch it so that I'm supposed to type the English, well, if I hold down the shift key, it doesn't really show these as being shifted, and it doesn't act as if it shifted either. So we need to fix this. And what I've done is I've told the AI I'm using Claude 3.5 Sonnet for this, like I do with everything in Windsurf, to look at page.tsx, which is basically the root page component of this whole page, and to follow its imports and recursively follow their imports until you fully understand the system. And we can see it go through. First, it fully analyzes page, it does the direct imports, it looks into one of the language's definitions, and it gets a good summary of how everything works, and it gives it to me. This is like the way that I start my prompts now. I don't just throw in some files and tell it blah 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 what I want it to do. I sort of start by just telling it to look. Sometimes use the word analyze or examine, and it's important to tell it to follow the imports and to do it recursively. Otherwise, it might do a much shallower view, and to do it until it fully understands the system. And this is a great launch point. Then it now has all this context to do anything you want. So I did that to do something relatively small, given the amount of context it has, but it did a good job. But anyway, we're going to add the shift key support. So I this is the prompt I used. I said, great, now let's add shift key support. Currently, if I hold shift and press a letter like H, it will still consider that key to be a lowercase version of H rather than H, capital H. This makes it impossible to type our target prompt of hello. Yeah, as I showed, it just doesn't work. We should first adjust the language modules to have a keyboard layout for when shift is held and make that displayed. So shift is used in Korean. Korean doesn't have capital letters, but it has these aspirated letters. Like I'll show you. Here's a keyboard viewer. So currently on the QWERTY keyboard, change it to 2-set Korean. And so you see in the top left they show the aspirated one. So if I hold down shift, it changes all the visible keys, and so there are letters that you need shift to work to access in Korean if you're using this IME, which is the most popular. And then after that, we can make the shift key actually work in terms of behavior, I said. But, and then this is another tactic that I use a lot now that I think is really helping me get good results. As I say, before you do any file changes, give me a detailed approach of the plan, the approach you plan to use. So here's what it's saying. It's going to do some language module type changes, update keyboard layout interface in the language TS to include shifted desktop and shifted mobile. Key mapping interface include shifted property that maps QWERTY shifted keys to target language shifted keys. Modify the English keyboard to include shifted loadouts, blah blah. Modify virtual keyboard to track shifts. Okay, yeah. It sounds good. It's only caring about English at the moment, but it's better to do like a vertical slice in these types of things. Like if you are making a change where you're changing the interface of a component that you've implemented multiple inheritors from. If you can, if you're in a language that's flexible enough, it's best to make that change for just one of those subcomponents all the way through. So there's like a bunch of different places it needs to make updates, and we want it to show us that all of these updates work, and then we'll tell it, okay, now do it for Korean, and it'll probably have to do with just a subset of those updates. And for Farsi. So I like it. I'm going to tell it to proceed, and we'll see how this goes. Again, we're doing all of this stuff in the front end, which is not my domain. I'm not familiar with TypeScript very much at all. But I've been bumbling my way, just letting AI do the coding for me and me directing it with what to do to add all these features, to add multiple language support, to make this interface, interactive. Everything that this page is and does, aside from how it looks, it changed some style on me. It's annoying. If I hold down shift, then it crashes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and instruct it not to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stop it. Let's go back to here. So doing this in Windsurf, it undoes the changes to the files that it was editing and stuff. So it's a great way to, you just go backwards, you change your prompt, don't wait for it to finish and tell how to fix it. Just don't let the mistake happen and warn it. So I'm gonna, please do not change any styles in the process. I want the keyboard to remain visually identical. There's no need to say please, and I've heard that yelling at it in all caps and saying that something is critically important gets you best results. Don't try that on humans, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't even think about like how to talk to it. I just talk to it like as if there's a person there. Like I try to give it as much information as I would the person. If I had a person that could, program this quickly and accurately and that at any point I could go back in time to any point in the conversation that I would had that person and be like, nah, let's fork it here and just edit the prompt. If I could do that in real life with real people and they had those capabilities, then why would I need AI? I'll just use people, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying exactly. I think I like the AI, obviously. Alright. So I'm doing all these updates now. Before I hit accept, let's go, let's refresh. This looks different, which is annoying. Holding on shift and nothing is happening. Alright, clicking on it blows it up. There's a bunch of problems. So we're not going to accept it. We're going to go back and we're going to give this another shot. Try to make the change step by step and be surgical and as possible. See if this helps it. So it's getting those shifted in there. That's what it's doing in the interface. And for English, now we've got all the capitals, shifted versions. Here, if the shift passed, use complete shift. Okay. Alright, it's done. Let's go test it. Alright, looks like visually it looks the same. Yes. It shifts just a little bit because I think it's because of this. I don't know. That's what it just looks like. It's almost cute. I almost like it. But no, probably not. Let's see how the mobile version looks. Mobile version is solid. No shifting around with the mobile version. And the wider you get it, the bigger the shift. Interesting. Okay. So I like this. I don't think it actually works yet. I'm noticing that the shift is showing red, which is a problem. I'm pressing H, it's not working, so it doesn't work yet, but I'm gonna accept these changes and tell it yes, proceed with the next step. So he's updating the challenge page to handle the shift presses. All this code living on page.tsx is a nightmare. I'm not really. Since I'm not a front-end engineer, I'm not sure the best way to arrange it is. I'm thinking probably some .ts module or modules potentially, depending on how it makes sense to group the logic. But For now, it's easy to just let it be a big file because the LLM understands it just fine. I know. I'm a bad software engineer for saying shit like that, but it's not that I don't care. I do. Yeah, that's going to be a problem there. But let's give it a shot. English. Hey, we got the H. Except it didn't advance the character. There's a lot that needs to happen, but I'm going to take a break for now. Making progress. Lang gang.